Jeez, and it looks like we're live here, so welcome to the first episode of The Third Wheel. I'm your host, Hamish Lackman.
And I'm your other host, Aaron Conway.
And we've got along our first Third Wheel, who happens to be our good friend, Yashas Mudumbai.
Don't push it, mate.
Okay, then fine then. We'll expose you for rejecting bear girls from Tinder directly to their faces, making them cry, but, we won't get into those details. So tell us a bit more about yourself. Go on, Yash.
So I'm a journalist, and that's basically all I do at the moment. So I specialize in data journalism, which is kind of a new form of journalism. And I look specifically at sports as well, specifically women's sport lately. And that's been my job for the last few months.
And that's quite a lot to take in, so I guess we'll just start breaking it down and just going through this a bit more piece by piece with you. So how would you say your transition, I guess, has been from, because obviously you studied a computer science degree and we know that, so how would you say
our listeners don't know that though.
Oh yeah, so
for our listeners, we all of us went to the same university. We all did computer science. 4 years we spent together at Warwick. I actually lived with Yash in fourth year. Might talk a bit about that later. But I think it's quite an interesting thing to talk about, like how, I mean, you did a computer science degree and now you have a journalism job, like a job in journalism. Like, how's that? I think I've mentioned it to you before, and like journalism for me, like sports journalism was something like a career path I was like quite interested in. And
what happened then?
I mean, I don't think I'm a very good writer, but I mean, I don't think I'm a very good English speaker either, and I'm doing this, so I know there's hope always. But that's like, how did that come around?
Yeah, so I guess it's quite an interesting story. Like, in terms of, I got into computer science because I was that typical Asian kid in London, and wanted to sort of follow in my father's footsteps. Really, he did computer science at university as well, and sort of went into technology, and I thought that was the career path for me as well. But then looking like 2 years into the course, I was like, I don't really enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Didn't really enjoy the course, and then I kind of went through a bit of a struggle period as well, and somehow just like I just thought of writing a blog for just a couple of months, just to see like whether it gave me happiness in a certain sense, and it did. Like, and then ever since then, I worked with the student newspaper at work as well, and yeah, since then, like, I've done a journalism course and worked at a few places, which is nice. And so then I think this is the path that I want to go into, really. And I think this is now giving me much more happiness than I first expected, and I think it gives me a lot more happiness than computer science itself.
Yeah, shout out to the ball in the middle there.
Yeah,
the Warwick Student Newspaper. Hamish loves the ball.
Yeah,
pick them up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess until I met you and the ball, I'd say like I used to consider journalists a nuisance. If you got that one, big up yourselves.
What kind of joke was that?
Wait, is fucking nuisance? Like, do I have to fucking explain the fucking?
Right. Sorry, it's past my bedtime. So.
Nah, genuinely is. I'm gonna get home at like fucking midnight today. It's not gonna be fun.
Fair enough. I didn't ask for your life story, but fair.
It's only because you took about 2 hours to do the intro.
Oh, is that how we're going about it?
So
what did you think was like the turning point in second year? Like, was there a specific point?
Yeah, I guess this is another topic that we're going to talk about as well. But I went through some mental health struggles. In university, I somewhat struggled during first year to just sort of adapt to living away from home, and really found it quite difficult. And so yeah, I was always just searching for something to kind of make me happy in a sense, and I tried a lot of things didn't work, but somehow writing did, and writing about sport did. So then I just thought, you know what, this gives me happiness for even like an hour a day. So then I thought, why not just go with it and just write weekly or even daily to a certain extent. And then now we're here, and it's been a good ride the last at least 3 years, I guess. And so I guess that was the turning point in terms of realizing that, going through that mental health struggle, and then sort of finding a way out in a sense.
Yeah, so journalism has really helped
Yeah, I think it's been my savior really in terms of just sort of saving my life in a sense, just because it gives me a lot of happiness to write about sport or any other topic, which I've done in the last few months, because I study sports journalism, but then now I've moved into other areas as well, such as politics. I mean, we won't go on to Brexit, but that's save it for another podcast. But yeah, writing stuff is something that gives me a lot of happiness. So yeah.
So how would you say like the topics you've written about? Because obviously we know that you've written about a bunch of different topics, but the viewers may not know. So what kind of topics have you written about over your time? How has it changed till now? Because obviously it's been quite a few years, and now you're writing at a different grade, I'd say, or a different tier. And there's obviously a different set of eyes that watch you as well. So
yeah, so I guess initially I started just writing about sports that I loved. So I'm a big tennis fan and a big cricket fan as well. It's been a great summer for cricket, by the way. So shout out Ben Stokes, Yeah, so I started initially writing about sport, and then did that with the Bora as well at university. Covered a bunch of sports at university level as well, which was really cool. To actually go to matches and try and learn some of the real life skills, in a sense, and then yeah, got work experience at the Times as well, and that was really really massive for me at that moment, just because I sort of realized what journalism was, at least for a couple of weeks at the beginning, and it was a great time to cover stuff, because it was during the World Cup of 2018 and Wimbledon as well, and the England-India cricket series as well. So it was a really great time to cover sport, and then working with the Times throughout the year and learning journalism along the way. Then I transitioned from just writing about sport to writing about other topics as well. So I think sometimes I've written about some new campaigns that have been launched in a local area, and what it means to the people, and what are some of the local issues involved, and also issues like homelessness and mental health as well. I've written about those kind of things, and so I think that transition has been there, and I just write more detailed stuff now than I think anyone would do if they first started a sports blog back like 3 years ago.
So you obviously written a lot about sport, and now you also said that you've written about women's sport. So how did that come about, and what to tell us about the good points about this? And
yeah, so obviously this has been quite a breakout year for women's sport, in a sense, where we've seen the Women's World Cup in football, we've seen the Women's World Cup in netball as well, and there's a lot of media coverage around the Women's Super League in football this country, and it's been a big push really, because I think people have realised that women's sport just doesn't get the coverage that it really deserved over the last few years. So then this new startup company that came to me, and they said, would you write for us? And I said, yeah, why not? And so I write sort of analysis pieces for them, looking at sort of, because I'm a big fan of looking at statistics in sport. And so I write about those kind of things, and it's been good. I think it's widened my knowledge of women's sport, and that's really what I'm looking for, is just to widen my knowledge in any kind of field that I can.
So how was like the Women's World Cup and the coverage over the summer here in the UK? So I think I'm mentioning it to everyone. Like whenever we're out with my friends, they're always like, "Oh, you don't stop going on about America." But for those who don't know, I've spent the last year of my life in America, and women's sport there, or at least women's soccer, women's football there is pretty massive. It's huge. Like women's football there is bigger than men's football, and they were going like USA winning the World Cup was like massive for them, and they loved it over there. So how was it like over here in the UK?
Yeah, I think 2015, the World Cup in 2015 was actually a massive turning point, because England went to semi-finals there, and I think people actually realised that the women's team is actually really good. Yeah. And I think, and then there's been a big push with the Women's Super League here. I think this year Barclays invested £10 million in the women's game, and even the Telegraph, they have announced they made a women's sport editor, which is the first of its kind in the country, and and many of the big publications like The Guardian, The Times, they're all hiring women sports writers just to focus on women's sports. So there's a big push in this country, and I think the Women's World Cup in particular, the coverage was really good to my eyes. I think every big publication went out there, they sent reporters out there who knew the stories. It's a big thing, because if you just send your big sports writers who cover men's sport or men's football most of the time, they may go there and write stories about, oh, look how great it is, there's so many fans, and write those kind of sort of nice, sentimental stories. Whereas if you send people who've actually reported on the game before the Women's World Cup and looked at actual players and know the stories of the players, that's what really connects to the audience. And I think that's what a lot of publications did, and BBC Sports coverage was fantastic during the World Cup as well. So yeah, I think it was really, really big, and I think the big aim is trying to get to the Americans' level in terms of their coverage and their sort of publicity. But yeah, I think it's a great first step this year, and hopefully it will continue.
Yeah, and not only in journalism, but even in TV, the last couple of years, we've seen like more and more women football players are now pundits. They've come into television.
Yeah, the likes of Alex Scott.
Yeah,
they're big and
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's quite good what you're doing. And do you think that there should be more support from, I guess, everyone, not just I guess the women in sport, but also, I guess, from our end, the men?
Yeah, I think
the men in general should be supporting this and helping it as much, I guess, publicity as maybe how the Premier League is for the men's, maybe the equivalent for the women's.
Yeah, actually, if you look at the sort of statistics of attendance and interest in the women's game, 55% of people are men who are interested in the game. So the interest is there from both genders. I think it's just a fact of giving it time, and a lot of times we compare men's football to women's football.
Yeah,
and men's football is like 50 years ahead. They've had this. They started in the same position like 50 years ago. So it's not fair to say compare a Carling Cup final, which gets 85, 90,000 at Wembley, to then say the League Cup final for a women's game gets about 2,500 sometimes, or so it's not fair to compare. And I don't think we should, but it's because there are different ends of the spectrum. But I think we just need to give it time and not sort of let this be a breakout year and then say, I know next year the Olympics are back and we'll focus on men's sport, and then sort of this has to be a continual push, and then only will we sort of be able to be at a time where I think men and women are truly equal in sport.
Okay, so you say you're now working at this publication where you're working on women's sport, and then you've got this other role at the Telegraph where you're working on. Where are you working on now?
I'm a data journalist with Telegraph, so I work mostly on stories that are driven by statistics, and sort of we write analysis pieces on a variety of different things like sport or politics or travel or lifestyle.
Yeah, but you're saying you've moved kind of more away from the sports side of things with that role.
Yeah.
So do you prefer like sport or non-sport, or when you've been writing about mental health, or like other stories you've written? Is there one like preference over the other? And
what makes you like switch between them? Like, is it completely what you're down to do, or is it something like you may be obligated to do via the company?
It's whatever I'm down to do, really. But I think I made the switch just because I think it's widened my knowledge, and that's my biggest thing at the moment, is just to sort of not be confined to one sort of area. Because say if I was a sports journalist specifically, then I think then I would find it very difficult to say move to other areas if an opportunity came. So I think this opportunity to write about things other than sport is just a chance for me to showcase that I do know other things other than just say Indian cricket, for example, or the Cricket World Cup,
or how Roger Federer is much better than Djokovic and Nadal.
He's not, but I can let you have that one too.
Which were the games that you went abroad for? Like you got to go to a couple of games abroad. So could you let us know which sports and what they were about as well?
So I went to Wimbledon, and I went to the Cricket World Cup as well. I haven't been abroad yet. I went to a couple of conferences for a job, but I think those kind of experiences covering matches, I think matches and even covering women's matches over the past year has been really insightful, just to get that real experience of, because a lot of the women's games that I covered last year, you know, they're not like your typical Manchester United press box where you have Wi-Fi or a catering or stuff like that. You're basically sitting with the spectators, and that's a really good experience. That if you can handle sort of writing reports in that kind of situation, then you'll probably be better prepared when you get Wi-Fi and 5-star service at.
So when you're sitting with the rest of the fans, are you still like taking notes?
Yeah. So yeah, you kind of have your laptop with you. Like you don't, like all the fans probably celebrate, but when a goal goes
you're
in,
that guy just sitting there.
You're completely stressed. Like I need to write this line. You know, I need to write these sentences.
You're like, oh, who scored that goal?
Yeah, you're kind of trying to see like who scored the goal, what's the number on the back of the shirt, like does it match the team sheet, like so yeah, those kind of experiences actually really do help. I think it grounds you to the fact that, you know, I think rather than expecting like big things, you know, start small and then try and grow from there.
Do you plan to cover this for as long as you can as well, or do you plan to stop at a certain point?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at the moment, I think
we're still young.
Yeah, we are still young. I mean, Hamish might be feeling a bit old with the back injury, but
yeah, all those stretches you've done pre-podcast.
But
to be fair, I'm going grey. I'm grey.
My back's saying because I have to carry this shit. So like, you know.
Oh wow!
Don't talk about going grey, man. But
your hair's not going grey, but it's going like yellow.
that's just like part of the dye, you know. So like, for those who don't know, if you haven't actually seen
our listeners can't see us. But...
but basically, I've got like the top part of my hair like dyed with highlights. It went blonde, and then I have to actually, to maintain it, you have to use this purple shampoo.
And he wears a headband as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of madness right now.
He's trying to beat Aaron Conway Prime.
Are you dumb? Never.
Prime 2015-16 or something, whatever year I had it.
The season that Leicester City won the league, I just might add, but you know, just a niche.
Premier League's not a topic that we want to probably discuss.
Let's gloss over that. Yeah.
Okay. Let's rewind it back.
Let's go way back, just like your hairline, Yash. Fair
enough. So I want to link this back to. I want to link this back to like computer science a bit. So you have that computer science and technical background. Are you ever going to? So I know you're kind of linking it in with journalism as you're a data journalist, so you're dealing with a lot of data. But would you ever write about kind of more technical stuff, like computer science related?
So I
stuff. I don't really know like how you'd write about code and stuff, but like articles about.
Yeah, I guess I use skills from like computer science and those kind of things, but yeah, I mean, so it has been useful. I think it's good to sometimes do things that are not related to your job, just because it can give you experience of and gives you like, because I feel like that is a skill that I have that not many other people have, like the ability to analyze numbers, which sort of sets me apart from, say, a normal journalist who may have studied another subject. So yeah, it's something that I try and use to my advantage. And so yeah, I guess I'm using skills in that sense, but I'm not sure whether I'll write about the next MacBook Pro or like the newest specs. You know, I may do, but you know, I'll let you know on that one.
No, I mean, like, you know how you see. I know I see a lot of articles or read articles on like new frameworks being released and how they work and stuff like that.
I guess I leave that to the experts like yourself. So,
cheers, boss.
You know.
Cheers, boss.
Expert? No, raw.
No, see how he looked at me for that, not you.
It can't see on the
podcast. Did the writing lessons provided by computer science help? You know, when we did like a term of
my god,
English that taken by the English department or something.
Do you remember when I got told I need one-to-one Turing, fam?
The lectures.
I brought that up so I could bring that up.
The lectures that Hamish didn't turn up to.
So basically, at university, I don't know, computer scientists have, there's a stereotype, you don't really do much other than write code or something, and we can't
don't socialize. We don't really do anything, and most of that is true. But you know,
we can't smack most weeks. But you know,
we can't write essays, and so the main point was that we can't write essays or technical reports.
And can't really communicate with others. Like that's the
that's
the
especially like public speaking.
That's the perception. Like we might be living examples of that, but you know.
This recording will show it as well. Like,
so basically, for a term we had. This was what year was this?
First year one,
2014.
Yeah,
we started September 2014.
Why do you know the year? First year.
First year, but
I just know in it. Like.
Okay, first year for us was 20. I guess the listeners. So first year for us was 2014, and a term for one of our modules was taken by the English department, and it just taught us kind of how to write an essay, how to structure it, and this was also we can write technical reports in the future kind of thing. And we also had to do some like public speaking, like presentations and stuff like that. So did that help in any way, or like push you to
Probably
that?
Not.
I don't know. I always thought I was like really good at it, but I don't think I was.
Yeah, I guess like the perception when we first joined those classes was like, what are they going to tell us like that we don't know?
Yeah.
I guess it was quite useful in the end.
Better than Hamish anyway. What was the comment you had?
It was something like I think you need to get some one-to-one tutoring to help you with your fucking essay. I'm like, big man, who do you think you are?
you said big man to a lecturer.
No, like obviously, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying my thoughts. Like,
that was when he was a small man. Now he's a big man.
That was when I was still like dressing like.
Now he's got a podcast, so you can like call him out.
That was when you had 2 shirts back in the day.
Yeah, 2 clubbing shirts.
Those are mad times though. Those are 6 shirts as well, kind of.
But yeah, I mean. Getting back to the point, I don't think those classes really help in the present situation.
I didn't think they would. I just wanted to bring it up so I can.
Yeah, that's good. we do love that. To be fair, we do love that. So.
Is there a specific article you've written that you think, that's sick? That was the best one I've wrote. I don't know. I'm speaking bad English, right?
I like to think my best is yet to come.
Who needs one-to-one tutoring now? Dickhead.
I'd like to think, and I think I haven't really written much that I'm necessarily that proud of yet. But one story that does stand out is actually,
or one that's close to your heart, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. One, I guess 2 that are close to my heart. One I wrote for the Mental Health Foundation about depression.
I like that one.
And my journey in terms of journalism in particular. That was quite personal, I guess. And another one was earlier this year, actually. I spent a night trying to help homeless people and trying to help to find homeless people with a set of volunteers from a charity. And I just interviewed them and sort of understand why they do what they do and why they're helping people when it's raining, when it's like -1 outside, when they could very easily be in a situation where they're at home, they're relaxing. But to spend the whole night with them and, through the night that they work so hard for others, I think that was a really enlightening story for me. And something that I hope I conveyed to others. And I just learned a lot from that experience.
Your journalism has, for people like me, like I would say, like has opened like our minds, I guess, to like other topics and helped us maybe educate us, some of us, because some of us are maybe just ignorant to certain things. I'll say like, as I said, one example was your mental health thing. Like I wouldn't have probably like, just been aware of it, or I wouldn't have just paid too much detail to it, but you made me go ahead and do research into it. You made me check up on you. You made me help understand it just a little bit. I'm not going to say I understand it fully, because I don't know if anyone fully does, but I got just a little bit enough of a like a grasp into the word, so I knew how to, I guess, be less insensitive or whatever. I don't know if that's the correct thing to say it. Is that the correct English?
I think so.
I guess that's the reason why I did it, just to sort of help people realize that this is an issue that anyone can really go through. And we often think that everything for a certain person is great on the outside, they're so successful. And, we see successful people all over the world, who are superstars in, say, a movie actor or a sportsman or a sportswoman, and yet they still go through an issue. So it's not confined to sort of one person or one type of person. I think that's the reason why I wrote that story. And hopefully it's helped. And yeah, so yeah.
Which one of these stories is like, I guess, the homeless one, the mental awareness one, and so on? Which one do you think has raised the most awareness? At least to the people you know, because obviously I think you have quite a large following for even just before you were part of these companies. So as at university, so you'd have quite a few hundreds of views. I remember even when making those joke Facebook posts from your Facebook, you get quite a big reaction very, very quickly.
I mean, they were all you're doing, but you know,
those are some quality ones.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about the numbers, but I think the fact that the mental health story probably resonated with people the most in terms of at that time, because I also gave a talk on it, and sort of I've really tried to do it every year sort of thing. It's been a continuous process, whereas homelessness issues, I've only done it for the past 6 to 12 months. Whereas sort of mental health, I've tried to be open about it since I first got it, since I first encountered depression. So I think that's probably resonated with people more, but I hope both stories, and I hope I continue to sort of raise awareness, because I feel like it's my duty in a sense. And and I feel like one of my duties is to try and leave the world in a better place than what I found it in.
That's a very good one.
And you know, even if it's not impacting the whole world, my own little world, which you two may or may not be part of. I mean, so yeah, those kind of things. So that is an aim that I have, and I hope I can do that.
And could you just, like, I guess, briefly touch on the topic, like, for anyone just walking by, just someone who may be homeless or struggling, what would your advice be to them? Because obviously you spent some time with them as well, so maybe you could just give us a bit of insight real quickly and tell us, maybe is there something we could do, even just walking by them, like, instead of just being like completely like, no, I gotta get from point A to B, I don't care whatever's in the middle. How could we maybe be different? Like maybe even just a thought process.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's a product of society at the moment, where we're always looking just for ourselves. I feel like a lot of us, myself included, I'm more concerned about my own sort of life, whereas we're not always that concerned about people we don't know. And I think speaking to a couple of homeless people in the last year, they just want someone to talk to, because they spend most of their day just in silence. And like most of them, and you know, I think that day where I was sort of shadowing volunteers, incidentally, on the tube, a guy who was homeless came on the tube and said, has anyone got any money, or can you give me something? You could see everyone sitting just looking elsewhere.
Everyone just kind of puts their head down and just tries to not make eye contact.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they know they like, even I do it.
But
like,
even
I know if I look at them, I'll feel guilty.
I do it naturally as well. Like, I think we all feel guilty, but we're not sure of how to help.
Yeah. Or some people maybe in like in a more ruder way, like just thinking in the head, like F off, like some people probably think like that, and obviously there's like, I guess some of us choose to ignore it, but there's those good Samaritans that at least start putting the money in. But I know that I probably, even when I just get on a train in general, like I'm pretty much like, I'm not very talkative. Like even on the way here, like I just put my headphones
we know that from time ago, but
raw.
Remember that time you found like 10 quid or something?
When?
It was at uni. And then you made such a big deal out of giving it to charity or something.
No, you don't.
Did you give it to charity?
Someone was with me and I went and put in that.
I thought you just kept it.
No, if I find money,
but then it was like showing. He like came back and was like, oh, "Yeah, I just picked up 10 pounds, gave to charity."
What the fuck? No, don't twist this
big man like me.
Nah, you're fucking lying.
I remember us making it like.
No, you don't were accusing me of pocketing it, but I was like, I always either put it money I find at the temple, or it goes into a charity box if there's no like temple that I can reach. Like at university, if I was living in Canley, I couldn't go really to the temple. Maybe that's my own fault for not putting as much effort into going. But the best thing I could do was just leave it at the Tesco charity box, or wherever they had going on at the time.
All my money goes to your mum, so she can provide for you.
I need to have a conversation with your mum about your fucking behaviour, mate. That's what I need to do.
Okay. Do you know why so whereabouts you're in London for this? Like, do you know why this area or something has like a lot of homelessness?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been a lot of sort of research put into this sort of issue, and obviously the housing crisis across the country is a massive factor, and also I think sometimes, I think I just feel, I mean, maybe I'm empathetic, maybe too much to too much of a degree, but sometimes we're not able to support people in, even though we can, for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. And society sometimes is about one-upmanship, if that makes sense, where it's like, someone else's loss is someone else's gain, and we think about things in a certain way. So I think that those two factors play a huge role, and I think it's across the world. I don't think it's just in London. I think
of course.
Homelessness.
Yeah.
I mean, you were saying in America it's huge as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned that, but I just got back from America. I'm
just gonna edit like on the YouTube on some meme or something.
It's like, oh wait, none of you would have seen that Love Island season where there's
he watches Love Island, by the way. So.
Yeah, there was a guy called Marcel, and he was like, oh yeah, I was in Blazing Squad, and he like kept on saying it like it was a massive joke. But anyway, I was in San Francisco, the homelessness. I mean, Hamish even came and visited me in San Francisco, and like
that's a story for another time. What you want to bring up today?
we can leave that.
And you were saying there were a lot of
like
there. It was. I think it's worse than London.
Yeah, you were saying
right. Like,
yeah. So I think
a lot of that's down to like San Francisco, the amount of money people are on drives housing up. Housing's ridiculous, and that just leaves more people out in the streets. And it's in California. The weather's pretty good.
I think the worst one that probably got me was just that when I think the day not the first day we were meant to go to your office, the one afterwards, where we actually ended up coming to your office was when I saw like a mother and her two children. Like the children must have been like, I guess no more than 4 or 6, and like they were just there like homeless, and you could and I was like, fuck, like what the fuck do I do? Like I don't even know what to do.
Exactly.
Like,
I think that's
just like walking behind like I don't know how I can help you. Like
that's the situation. I think that's the situation a lot of us face is that we know it's an issue, but how do we help it? I'm not sure there's a clear answer.
Yeah,
I'm not sure we'll ever find a clear answer. But if we can help one person along the way, I think that's something positive.
Yeah, what I tried to do in Lem was when I would be walking home from Millennium Bounty, big up Millennium Bounty and Bossman. So if I had like any like spare salads or like spare like food under that I wasn't going to probably eat, I'll just give it to the whichever homeless person I see on the way up. Like it's kind of like first come, like whichever one I see on the way home. And this was especially during exam season. They probably got the most out of it because I was living on Balti like every single day at that time. So that time I was just giving the food away because personally, I could be wrong that I don't like handing them money because I've seen a few cases of where I'm not saying all of them do, but a few cases where they just either like they're rolling up tobacco or something to smoke, and I'm just like, I'd rather give you food.
Yeah.
Maybe like obviously speaking to them may be a good option.
I think a lot of us are just scared sometimes. I'm scared still, just to interact with anyone.
One thing I found though is that they're like totally harmless.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah,
I think people just assume like
they are us. They're human beings in a sense. So I think
it's hard to see that like as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think so. Yeah. I mean, that's one aim that I have in terms of just trying to help as much as we can, and it would be nice for the situation to change year on year.
Did you did anyone like approach you like about over any of these articles, like the mental health one, the homes one, like
few,
like help? Don't have to like name names or anything. Get into too much detail.
But a lot of people have, and I think especially mental health one, I think a lot of people have and said, "Oh, this really helped." That it's reassuring to find out there's someone else that feels the same way that I do, and I think that's the point of the article, just to give people a warm hug sometimes and sort of say that you're not alone in the battle, because it can be lonely. And I think the biggest actually difficulty with regards to mental health is actually asking for help and actually accepting the fact that you have a problem. Because I was in denial for a long time, that I had an issue. I was like, oh, I'm just sad. Maybe it's just my personality. Maybe it's I'm not doing this right. But sometimes you just don't feel right, and you just have to have that courage to ask for help. And maybe by me writing, by me sharing a story, if that can give other people courage to do the same, then my life's better for it. And I hope I can keep helping, and I do try and still help people when they approach me about the situation. And because as I said, I feel like it's my duty, just because I have been through it. So I'm not saying that I can relate to anyone, but a problem is better solved with two people rather than one. So why not be the second person?
Yeah.
And try and help as many people as you can.
Oh, that's very, very good advice. So like, is there like one thing I guess you could say that how can I approach someone that I think may be potentially like having like a mental breakdown? Like what can I say that is not going to push the wrong buttons, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it's very difficult. I think sometimes it's better not to say anything.
Like
it's
would you
better
sit there
to completely listen. And I think one of the biggest sort of turn-offs for a person going through it was, when someone says, "Oh, I've been feeling this way," and someone else says, "Oh, I felt like this before, but I got through it." You say that, it makes them feel like, "Oh, he or she has got through it. Why am I not able to get through it?" Like, and they start comparing, because that's what we like to do in life.
Yeah.
We always
that's with a lot of things as well.
We like to compare things. Yeah, like in anything, we like to create an order in every single way of life, and that's why comparison is so prevalent. We always compare. So I think if there was one advice for trying to help someone, it would probably be just to listen and be there. It's actually an underrated aspect of helping someone, I think, is not going in with answers of your own, but rather just listening to what they have to say, and just being there and just saying, maybe we don't know the answer, but we'll help you out, and we'll figure out a solution together. What that solution is different for everyone. It's not like a leg injury, where everyone has different legs, but Aaron maybe have bigger legs to go gym, but remember that 40-day challenge,
fuck.
For people who like don't know us or can't see us, they're just
if they're still listening,
maybe they're just imagining I'm just like some hench guy.
I think
little bitch is what you are.
Right. Fair enough. But yeah, so we all have similar legs, and say you break your leg, touch wood, it doesn't happen to any of us, but you'll probably have to go through recovery for 10 to 12 weeks. Whereas recovery for mental health illness, it really depends. It could be 2 weeks, it could be much longer, or it could be a couple of months, or etc. So I think that understanding that every situation is different, and just listening, I think that's the key thing. It's been quite serious, hasn't it?
Yeah,
but we do like that. I guess it's been very informative.
It's been a bit
if anyone's still listening, I hope you've learned something, and I hope you can approach the next homeless person you see, and maybe just have a conversation with them.
Yeah, we'll put some links in the description to like some articles.
So if you have any recommended ones that you want to give us, and then we'll just drop them in whenever this releases. We haven't.
I don't know that. I don't know when it releases. By the way, they haven't told me, so it may not come out. It may come out.
You have to sign a contract, so
we need to make that an NDA as well, like. Sick of ourselves, but yeah. So I guess we'll go back to our computer science time. So obviously, people assume that we don't go out, but I think our social lives are pretty hilarious. Pretty jokes, at least for us. Obviously, people may not find it as funny as we still find some of these stories. So where should we start, Aaron? Like, where do you think? First year, second year? Like, where do you go back to? With Yash, at least. Memories with Yash.
I don't know. When was do you remember us, like, do you remember meeting us for the first time?
I think I may have met you in one of the 132 lectures, then we never spoke for a while, and then we
I don't even know.
I met Hamish quite late.
I don't even know what 132 means.
I'm pretty sure that
I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure they didn't like me. I met Alex and TK very early on. Big up my boys.
Yeah. I remember meeting Hamish quite late. Like not even in first term or first year. Like I think in second term.
I was like too rude and direct at that time as well. So like,
maybe, but maybe I just probably didn't interact with anyone. Like to be fair,
so I think
I remember meeting Aaron in maths.
You were definitely hanging with Aki.
I met you on like the first date, pretty much. Yeah. Like so like we said hello probably. Like,
yeah.
So my memory of this was okay. So I remember going into a lecture. It's the very first lecture, and
wait, what was the very first lecture? Do you remember what it was?
No, I just know Mike Joy was the lecturer.
No. That's not.
Right. I thought you did.
It was
so before I came to uni, I did not want to be associated with a brown group. I hated the idea of being in a brown group. Like, so I grew up.
I might just walk out the podcast now.
I grew up.
They're gonna be shut down after episode 1. Here we go.
I grew up basically being the only brown kid, like in primary school, in secondary school, like always. And
also, you wanted to just keep that stature.
I don't know why I didn't want to be associated with the brown group. I think it was just like, people being like, oh, they're all Indians, so they hang out together. I was just like, yeah, I didn't want to follow a stereotype.
Yeah.
And then the first lecture came in, sat on the end of a row, and then I get a tap on the shoulder, and then it's just someone gave me his phone and was like, put your number in it. So I was like,
hey, chaps.
Okay then. Chaps, there's like 4 girls out of 100 in our year.
Yeah, true.
So I put my number in this phone, saved it, gave it back. I get a message on my phone. It's like, you've been added to the comp sci dons. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. First, just at the name, I was like, oh, God. And then I look in the group, and then it's just all these Indian names. And I'm like, oh, my God. It's like Yashas, Akhilesh, Jitan.
Jeez, calling out name drops. Oh, my God.
No, these are just names.
It is true. It is true, though.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, great. And then remember, I didn't speak in that. Hamish won't know because he wasn't allowed in that group for ages. But Yash, no, I didn't speak in that group for I feel like most of the year.
There was like one time where you messaged.
Yeah,
I think everyone went mental, bro.
Yeah. They were like, oh my God.
Literally, there was like applause in the group chat, bro.
Yeah.
Because it was like literally like the first. Because I think the first message was like, oh, where's this lecturer at? Because what room is this lecturer in? We were like, oh, Aaron's actually messaged the group. I mean, I was pretty similar, to be fair. I didn't really message in the group, but it was quite weird just to see Aaron message the group. So,
but then after that, I like to think that he became the heart of the
included
group.
himself.
Then Aaron tried to actually include me into the comp sci dons when you mentioned it, because I was the only brown person in DCS.
There was Sandeep got away with it as well.
Oh yeah,
he was never included in it.
Yeah.
But like he never also hung with them at all, did he?
Lucky guy.
No, I'm joking. You would have thought I was the one starting beef here. Here you are. Just like,
I don't know why he wasn't.
I might just go outside to be fair.
There was that guy as well who always was on Facebook in the lecture.
Who was that?
I don't know his name.
Oh,
maybe we won't say his name, but
yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. I have a rough image in my head.
But yeah, I think my first memory of Aaron is him sleeping in a maths lecture.
Oh, of course it was.
And yeah, so
+5 -1.
So yeah, if you don't know, Aaron didn't like maths at uni.
Yeah, like a lot of the topics by the amount of sleeping it, didn't it?
That was only the first.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Probably it was into a bit of second year as well, but
what, he was sleeping next to me in 4th year as well. I remember in the
maybe
semantic web lecture, he was just there.
That's just because you were talking to me.
But yeah, so I think so that's my first sort of memory of him, and then we spoke, and then I think we got along. At least I'd like to believe so.
You think we got along? Of course we got along, bro.
Doubt there was so much doubt there.
You're our first guest on our podcast.
I mean, it is a huge honor, to be fair. So
Remember we rated you, not anymore though.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we lived together.
Yeah, but that's 4th year, mate. That's not.
Aaron, I want to know.
Years.
I'm saying in first year you may not have rated me. So
first year, I don't know how. I don't remember when I first met Hamish.
Yeah,
I feel like
I want to know.
No,
happened.
I feel like I do remember when I met Hamish. It was like one of those assignments that we had.
Oh, and you were stuck with him.
No.
Wait.
No.
That time I was dishing out help.
No. It was like security. I feel like I asked him where to like hand it in, because he was like the only guy in the room.
Surprise.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, like he was there for like
Basically
4
lives
years.
in there. Lives in there.
So I was like, where do you hand this in? He was like, there's this like desk in there, and then I think we introduced ourselves, and then
Good chat.
Yeah. It's definitely enlightening. To be fair, like I feel like that I really made the most of that friendship. To be fair, so you know. But yeah, so that was the first. That's the first time I've met you both, and
I don't know when me and Aaron, apart from that lecture, I don't know what else led us to or like made him think that he wanted to add me to Comsci Dons. I don't know how this came about, but then I remember him trying to get me added, and I'm not going to name the people of the admins of this chat. Didn't want to add me at the time. So
well,
you
kind of have.
I was just like, geez.
I think that's just how we became friends because I was like, I think I just saw you, and was like, wait, why
we
are
were
you not
working
in the
together
chat?
on something. I don't know what it was.
I think we were just revising for the exams.
Yeah, it must have.
No, it was before exam time. It had to be in term 2.
Term 2. I feel like it was security. I feel like it was one of those assignments.
But yeah, so like we were just working on something.
Maybe it's web dev.
Oh shit, it could have been web dev. That would make sense. Or Witter. It was either web dev or Witter then.
You made that dodgy site that looked like it's like the prison.
From your site, made me like feel so uncomfortable. Like I was like, shit, this boy is gonna get fucking like ruin us with 100%. Yeah, like
no. Back then, like,
but I had the functionality.
The best thing was the blurred background.
What was the blurred background? Oh yeah, shit.
No, the best thing was the name, due to and fair pay.
No one cares
Links
about
in the
that.
description. No, we won't put it. We won't put that.
Remember when Yash missed his fucking mark?
There'll be a link to my website, and you can see that.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, right, look at this promotion right here.
Yeah. I'm a web developer.
But like I guess we'll go into some of the nights out now. Like we went to quite a few nights out. There's quite a few memorable ones. I'm trying to think of one where all 3 of us. I think we're gonna have to skip to 4th.
I feel like
I think most of our memories happened in 4th year.
Was it
in
second or
year.
3rd year? Did we go ASOC ball? What was that?
I feel like second year.
No,
ASOC is the Asian Society. Again, something
Just to
I
clarify,
went against my will.
Yeah. We only went to this ball. We didn't actually go to these other events.
Yeah. No, I don't think most people didn't go to most of the events, but like
that ball was lit though. Apparently the year we went
The
to
food was good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember the premiere at the time.
But yeah, like most of the nights out that I remember that we all went to was final year. And
yeah. Well,
I feel like final year we're just like, oh fuck this.
Let's just go to the very beginning.
Yeah, because it got to the point where it's like, like we're probably too old, but like we'll just go for it. Like,
we'll go for it all in one blast. Like we wanted to get all of the pieing out at the beginning.
Like,
so in the first
the first week of the year. Like,
I didn't even go out in first year. I like went out. I was too busy
I went to pop with Josh Kane. Oh shit.
Yeah, like I feel like the first week of final year, I think I went out like 4 nights in a row. And
wait. First week of final year. Yeah, we all did. We went to like Neon Monday. We went to like Smack Tuesday.
But no, that's what I'm saying. Like in the years previously, you probably could have added all my nights out and probably get to like just double that. Like it's not as if I went to a lot of nights out, but in final year I just went.
Well, that week was mad as well. Like even the weekend, like we had no reason to go on the weekend. We were fucking out on the weekend.
Our house was good, wasn't it, Aaron?
Oh my days! That priest was Smack.
If we rewind to the end of 3rd year, where me and Yash decided to live together, and then
it was meant to be.
We were looking at houses, and then
in Leamington Spa, which is
Royal Leamington Spa.
Yeah, Royal Leamington Spa.
Yeah, let's give the full name.
And so we were looking for houses, and we found this flat, and when we went inside, we thought we did absolute madness. We thought we did really well to get that house.
Yeah, because she was showing us she showed us the rooms. Yeah, and then we went downstairs to like this quite a big kitchen and this basement area. Yeah, and we were like, I remember asking, "Wait, is this for the same house?" Like, because I thought it might have been like a different section or shared. Oh no, I think I asked if it was just for the 2 people.
Yeah.
Because I thought it might have been shared with like the house next door or something because it was quite big.
But then she said it was just for the 2 people.
Yeah, and it was within our budget or what we wanted to spend as well.
Me and Aaron said, let's go for it. Yeah, and
we were like, let's get on it ASAP before someone takes it.
Yeah. So we literally got this like in the midway through 3rd year. And we were really happy with it. Yeah. And
the first Mac night, literally in that first week.
Going into final year. So I went to the house a week early. And I could already see the issues.
I don't know if we should call the house out. Or...
no, don't call the house out. No,
but if there's anyone listening to this that currently lives in a house in Leamington Spa that sounds
No, don't say where it is. No.
Say the street, maybe.
No, don't.
Oh, no,
It was North Leamington.
Yeah.
It's North Leamington.
Yeah, that's that. We'll stop there. We'll stop there.
But if you live in North Leamington and you're in a house that sounds kind of similar to what we're talking about,
good luck,
message us and you can come on a podcast.
Good luck, where we just talk about that house.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I could see the issues already. Like there was issues with, there were floods like within the first few days of us going in, and
just to clarify, that one of the floors was, they had two floors in this house. I guess the ground floor was the bedrooms, and the bottom floor was the kitchen and bathroom. Am I missing anything?
Kitchen, bathroom, and like the TV.
Okay, so like a bit of a lounge area.
Yeah. So I think,
but like the water was just coming from like underneath the skirting boards, like just appearing.
So I asked the landlord, and so he got a person to clear up the floor, and he said, "Oh, sorry, this probably won't happen again." So I was like, "Okay, that's fine. You know, there's no one here." So then the first week of final year, we thought, we should celebrate the fact that we have this nice house
right next to Smack.
Because it's right next to Smack, which is a nightclub in Leamington.
Yeah, was it voted like the best nightclub like in the UK or something?
I have no idea.
Maybe yeah.
The world.
Let's not chat shit about statistics.
I don't know. I feel like
call us out.
99% of statistics.
This is probably an old statistic. Wait, don't you work?
99% of statistics are fake. So
I swear, literally, like
so
half an hour ago, you said.
Yeah. So like just to celebrate, we thought we'd invite all of our friends to sort of get ready for a Smack night out. Then literally as soon as the first person walks in, our house is just flooded.
Was that me as well? Like,
it's just water starts appearing. Like I think I remember going to Yash like, oh shit, like look over there.
No, the worst part was the fucking smell. I was like, guys, you know how many people are going to be coming in tonight as well?
So then we literally had to just stop everyone at the stairs.
Nobody was allowed downstairs.
Oh no. That's why we had to keep the door open as well. And
neighbors were getting pissed at the music coming out loud.
So then
everyone seemed to turn up as well.
Yeah.
Like when does anyone else turn up?
And that early as well. Like that was like a breeze. That was a long.
That was a nightmare. And ever since that moment, we never held a breeze again.
Well, we did, but like it wasn't that big. Never again.
It was just you and like Baxendale like turning up and
and playing.
Josh once turn up
and so that was quite eventful. Then we had some.
You think that was the worst of it?
So another issue that we had was
of mice and men. Right.
Yeah. So in the middle of nights, there used to be certain mice.
Or like just noises. It was just like noises.
Noises, yeah. So we didn't know what it was initially. So every morning we used to get up and then we'd say, "Oh, Aaron, did you hear that noise?" And he was like, "Yeah, I did. Did you hear it?" And I was like, "Yeah." "Oh, do you know what it is?" I was like, "I'm not sure." And then like a few months down, like a month down the line, I was like,
month.
Yeah, we waited long on that.
We waited long because we didn't know, because we thought it was just maybe the wind or
just something like neighbors maybe.
Yeah, something like things like that. Then I was like, I think it's mice, And so then we contacted the landlord again, and he said he'll get it sorted out. And that went well.
It never got sorted out.
Yeah,
and that got worse and worse. Like the noises were like scattering above our heads and below our feet.
One thing I remember very clearly is so I was in the library like at I think 8 or 9 p.m. So I get a message from Aaron saying, "I'm not going to be staying at home today. I'm staying at Hamish."
And I lived in Candy as well.
And so I'm going to go to Hamish's and just sleep there.
I was so shook. Like
we were so accommodating as well. Like.
And I asked him the reason. So I was like, "Oh, Aaron, what happened? Is everything all right?" The reason that came up was just the mice are too loud.
No, we had course with you as well, so it worked out really well.
You were going home that weekend, right?
No. So it was a weekday, I'm pretty sure.
Wait, so you slept
I slept at home.
Yeah, because
with the mice.
we were doing some coursework that was due very, very soon, and we were like,
It wasn't a
trying
weekend.
to make sure we're ahead of it. And
I'm
good.
pretty sure it wasn't a weekend. It was a.
I thought I went to
it was a
Hamish's
weekend.
because you weren't going to be at home.
No.
So I was just there by myself and the mice.
I
And I was too scared.
Because I came home late that day. And so I was like, "Oh, this will be fun, just living with mice." And
Just to clarify, the mice actually had no access to inside the house, just for people wondering about hygiene.
We never saw a mouse inside the house.
And the best moment of the whole issue with mice was one day we were coming back from uni on the bus and we were walking home. We literally see 2 mice just run inside a hole outside the house.
Yeah.
And me and Aaron look at each other, saying, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did. So what do you want to do?" And then we literally just went back to the library.
You just turned around and was like, "No, we're not dealing with this."
No, I remember you telling me that you also put like rain sound or something to help you.
Yeah, I basically the mice were too I literally thought the mouse in my sleep were gonna break through the floor and eat me. Because I could it's all I could hear.
Those are big mice. I remember seeing one of those.
They might have been rats. I literally don't know.
Yeah.
And I just had to put headphones on and just listen to rain to go to sleep.
So yeah,
it was horrible. It was
the night he slept at ours. Yeah, basically he was in rotation because I pick up my Mauritian housemates from fourth year university. Like basically we had a sofa bed in our living room. We had a pretty nice house, but it obviously had its issues, but nothing like that mice issues or so on that you lot had. But I just remember him. He used our oven, like he sat his own pizza. He had a nice dinner. We went back to DCS, so worked a bit, came back. We had the spare duvet, the pillow, everything. I could wake up, come to the living room the next morning, and Aaron's still there, like fast asleep. I'm like, boy, this boy must be loving the sleep in our fucking living room, yeah.
Because he didn't get enough at home, did he?
I think that was just sometimes as well for exams, like revising. I was just like, I'll just do an all-nighter. Like for coursework, like I didn't need to do an all-nighter, but I'll just do an all-nighter because that means I don't have to go home.
Yeah. So
and the people who came to visit the house for the next year came just before the incident as well, so he couldn't even warn them about the mice. So that was a bit peak for them.
So yeah, I don't know how they're getting along. It'd be nice to know that issue doesn't exist.
Nice to know they're alive.
When I last went back to for graduation, I walked up to that road and I took a picture of the place. I didn't go close. I didn't want to know if there was going to be rats chasing me out of that area. But took a picture, sent it to you, just to trigger you, because I was just like, it's worth it.
But I think actually in final year I had probably the most fun.
Yeah,
because it was just funny most of the time. Like the house was funny, the issues were funny. Uni was quite funny as well. And yeah, so I'd say I had probably the most fun in final year.
We didn't all see that, but yeah, cool. Thanks for that.
I just thought I'd just add my 2 pence to the story, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, should we start to round up our first episode?
Yeah, I've completely forgotten how I meant to round out anyways. But
so we got some final questions. So part of our show, we're looking to end the show with some questions for every guest.
Yeah, so the third one will be common for everyone, and the first 2 may just switch around depending on the guest, or like just randomly we pick out the hat that we have, or the hat of questions we have. So I guess the first question from us would be, what's next for you, if anything?
Yeah,
something's next.
I'm not really sure what is next. But I guess just continuing to sort of be involved in journalism. I would like to think that I can still be involved in journalism in some capacity, and hopefully continuing to cover sport and other sort of prevalent issues. In what kind of specific role that will be, I'm not sure, but I'd like to think I still see a future in journalism.
I think you're doing a good job as well. Like, you've at least made me aware of a few topics, so I assume you made a bunch of others made aware of these certain topics as well. So
second question is, one piece of advice you'd give to someone, whether that's younger you, someone else, and about anything, maybe something to do with journalism or mental health.
Chaps.
We're leaving it quite open.
Yeah. I guess one piece of advice I would give to, say, a younger me or someone younger is that don't care about other people's opinion. And it's a big issue that I still deal with a lot of the time. It's like I often think about what will society think of my next action. And but yeah, I mean, I think if you don't care about it, I think it will just release your mind and you'll feel a lot more relaxed and you will be able to live your life a lot more freer than you would otherwise. So I think because I went through sort of school and university thinking a lot about what other people think about me, but in the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. So
Yeah.
It's funny you actually say that because I was actually telling someone else today, like at work, I was like, what that is like one thing that's since I've at least left university, I've started to incorporate that back in because I feel like a university, like for some reason it was required. There's some external validation, but I've started to remove it and life's so much way better.
Well, see, I would like, I don't think that's completely, I like to listen to like, I think you should care about someone's opinion.
You can obviously
Yes.
care. You may just choose,
But maybe
choose
you
not to
just
take it.
don't
off.
let it,
don't let it rule your life.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
the biggest thing. Because I think I did that. I still do that to a certain extent. So I think I would say that advice. I'm very good at giving advice, by the way, that I don't follow. So
I'm aware.
So yeah, so I'd give that advice, even though I probably need to follow it more than anyone.
And if you have any, what was your most memorable third wheeling experience?
trying to keep it kind of relevant to the name of the
To
show.
the podcast, yeah. Yeah, I've had a few, and so yeah, this sort of couple, if you will, wanted me to celebrate my birthday, and but they both came together, and I only know one of these people well enough, and
I assume we're not allowed any context to like which.
no, we
Okay.
can't really say names.
it's private.
No. I was just saying, like, do we know like any sort of like relationship to how do we know them?
No,
We're gonna say off air. We can
yes,
bleep it out if you want.
But yeah, so that was quite a weird experience because it's
If you're
my
listening.
birthday.
Mhm.
Probably I should be the center of attention, but I feel like I was just sort of in a situation.
So
where-
wait, it was just them two and you?
yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
fuck. Imagine you being forced to third wheel for your birthday as well. Like,
So that was quite strange.
Depends how they are, if they're like
Yeah, I mean,
PDA or something like that.
I mean, they're good people, and yeah, but that was just quite strange. So yeah, that's probably the weirdest third wheel experience that I've had. Apart from this one, of course, but
It's not
Yeah.
been all over the place. Clearly.
I think you've done all right. Maybe we'll see.
yeah.
So we'll see the ratings skyrocket clearly for all 10 people that are still watching this.
Okay,
3 of them
now
are.
last bit. Shout outs. So each one of us can shout out, end it off with a shout out for anything. I still need time to think about mine, so if you
Yeah,
review.
go first.
A shout out is
So you can shout out anything, whether that's
Probably-
your social media, something you're currently working on, a
I'm
song,
not that vain, to be fair.
a new song out, a new album. Great, I can't do that
Oh,
now.
you
But yeah, I guess on the theme of a topic that we've talked about on the podcast is try and help people if you can at certain times. It's a nice feeling for not just for them but for you also. So yeah, try and help and see where that takes you in life.
Cool. Aaron, do you want to go next or should I?
You go.
Basically. You want me to? Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to shout out to D Block Europe's newest album. I forgot what the name was, but like it's been a
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
shout
that's
out.
good. That's good. That's really good.
Oh, how could I fuck
That's
that
really
up?
good, to be fair. Like,
It's called PTSD. It's a quality album. I love the Dave track on there as well. So yeah, give it a listen if you haven't already. Follow us on Spotify if anything for quality music picks. Obviously relevant to the UK music genre mostly, but yeah, that's my shout out.
Okay, my shout out, as Yash isn't going to do it, I'm going to shout out Yash's blog.
Oh yeah.
Wait, is that even up? Still.
it's I don't think it is up. So
You
Oh,
don't
no.
have it. Like,
You
I
probably
thought I was
upload
going
and
to do
find
a
it.
really nice thing, and now
yeah.
it's okay. Fuck your blog. I'm going to shout out a whole city, and that city is San Francisco. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but I spent the last year of my life in San Francisco. It's a great city, and if anyone's thinking of going to visit it, I'd recommend going to visit. It's
I can
got some
confirm.
great things.
It's beautiful.
They treated me nice, and some great people there.
Some amazing views. Everyone there is also very, very, very friendly. Like that was one thing I noticed as well. Like, like I was just sat on that one of the, what was that mountain called? Was it Bernal Heights? Bernal.
It's not a mountain.
No one really asked for that story.
It's a hill, but it's not a mountain. Yeah.
I just remember like the dogs would come running up to you, like all wanting to play. Like the people were just like, "Good morning." I was like,
maybe not for Yash because too many dogs there. Like
upscale
I'm
dogs.
from London. People don't say good morning to me when I'm walking past them. Like, what is this?
That's
like,
because I just see your trim and like, okay.
Right. You can't talk to me about trim. Look at yours, man. What's that?
You can't really see on the podcast.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Oh shit, we're gonna wrap up now. So yeah, if you've followed us all the way through, I guess if you want, you can subscribe on whichever platform you're listening on. Check out our socials. All the links will be in whichever description you're looking at. There'll probably be some sort of small Insta post regarding this. And
yeah, we hope you enjoyed it. And
it's been an honor to be on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you, Yash. I think that's
it's good to get on the post from
fucking clap as well that we just did.
Maybe we'll add some special effect.
It would be,
actually, you'll see how lazy we are if that's in there or not. So it probably isn't.
We don't even have much time to edit this one as well. We fucked it. You know that.
No, we got a week to edit this.
A week.
According to our schedule. But we shouldn't give anything away about our schedule just in case.
No, but they don't know what day we're recording this and what day it's releasing, so it's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're going to work out when you schedule it, but yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, we do. Oh, my days. I had my thing messed up. I thought we were releasing this and the other thing at the same time.
But
yeah.
They don't even know that.
Big up.
Thank you for listening if you are still listening. Or if you just forwarded it to the end, that's fine as well.
If you want to come on as a guest, just holler at us on any of our socials. We're pretty much open to having anyone as a guest.
Yeah, if you got something interesting to say.
Even if you don't and you want us to set up topics, we're more than happy to do so.
But then hopefully have something interesting to say about those topics. Hopefully. Make sure to give us 5 stars on iTunes and anywhere else. 5 stars rating on iTunes ratings, is a thing. Yeah. But I don't know if it's a rating. I don't know if it's a thing anywhere else.
I feel like it's on iTunes.
I definitely know iTunes, but yeah.
But yeah.
Jeez. I think it's time to wrap up. So I guess we can just. I don't know. Are we just gonna cut it, or are we gonna say like bye or something? Like, what's the plan here?
You can tell we're pretty new at this. We've let this outro run far too long.
It's been longer than
I think we should just go.
All right.
See you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.